We're in Death Valley. It's a really interesting place. I just passed Area 51 like a few seconds ago, road, or I don't know, maybe an hour ago. Apparently they haven't seen any aliens around there, but I did ask. And they said it's like a kind of a 40-mile drive in, and that's the closest point you can get to. So there are a bunch of mountains around here. Let me see. I can turn around here.
Are you by yourself?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So, yeah, I guess they call it Death Valley because there's not much over here. Even the plants are less. So before, around Area 51, there were these Joshua trees, which looks pretty cool. Um, but out here, there's really not too much.
You might even be below sea level.
That could be. I noticed the elevations really dropped. I was coming across the U.S. and I saw some really interesting things in the Navajo and Hopi reservations. A lot of a lot of cosmic activity, a lot of things going on in the sky, particularly in the Navajo area. Then Sedona had a lot of cool energy. And now we're here. I do find it interesting, in these roadways out west, they always have these barbed wire fences along the road. So it's like there's all this like cool stuff to explore everywhere, and it's like, they want to rope it off or whatever they're up to. But but yeah, so this is where we are. We'll meditate for a couple minutes and then I'll proceed. And I'm trying to get up to the Mount Shasta area as quickly as I can at this point. And hopefully I can reach that today. It's just going to be,
Where's your
it's
car?
going to be a drive.
Where do you put your car?
It's on the road. You can see that white guy over there.
Oh, okay. I bet it's great sleeping at night out there. You really get to see everything going on, right?
You do. I'm sleeping. I was in Sedona and I had an experience. I did feel a lot of cosmic support, and I actually felt some kind of hands coming on my head, and I woke up and I was hoping to see some, I don't know, celestial beings or whatever that might be. But I didn't physically see anything.
I was in
So
Sedona and I went on a tour and did all the vortexes in one day, which was intense. Yeah.
that's cool.
He drove through, this tour guide drove through like everywhere. It was like amazing. Yeah, those mountains are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. I mainly did the Cathedral Rock, and I did it like super early. I did one like pre-sunrise. I have to kind of cut and I'll put it on YouTube. Although there's not a whole lot to see because like everything is like totally dark. Like yeah, be going up there. Um but yeah, no, the energies are they're really nice, they're really nurturing. Um and it's powerful, but it's different than other places like Shasta. But I would definitely go back for sure. Definitely worth going back and spending a bunch of time out there.
Yeah, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, no, it's super beautiful, and the portal energy is very strong. And I began to feel it like 22 miles out in that Oak Trail Canyon, with the river and the creek. So it was strong there. It was strong, in places where you'd expect it to be as well.
Wow.
So that expression, portal energy, could you unpack that for us?
Um, yeah, like
Uh-huh.
so for me, that's what I'm looking for in
They're
a
like
location.
vortexes. It's a
Yeah,
vortex.
I'm like, and if I'm, if I'm in a place, and I've even come to, realize that it's like I'm kind of like living a lot of time off that portal energy in a big way. So it's like really impactful on my mood, how I feel, on, what I wind up doing in the day. Um, it's kind of lifting everything up. It's a real game changer. So yeah, I could be, sitting around kind of agitated and depressed in like a non-portal area, or, things will just be a lot better. Like even what I wind up doing, will be more and better if I'm in a portal area. So it's, how can I describe it? Yeah, no, it's just enhancing the mood. It's adding more energy. Makes you feel like you can, do more things. You're less tired, more upbeat. Um,
Cool.
yeah, I mean, I'm able to feel it. Like if I'm driving into an area, like I'll be able to feel where the portal starts. It can be very noticeable. Like
Wow.
with Sedona, when I was kind of driving in, I was coming up from the city above it, Flagstaff, and then at a certain point, I just started feeling that energy. And often, like, it happens very quickly as like you're entering the portal. It's the same with Shasta. As you're driving up to Shasta, like there's a specific point where it's starting. So like coming into Sedona, I like pulled off the road, started doing some, meditation, and started enjoying that energy. So for me, like when I think of where to be, um, it's like the first thing I want to do is get to a portal, somewhere where there is that portal energy. It's actually worth a lot. It's like very valuable to me to be in that spot versus somewhere else. And that's why, I could, going to California, there would definitely be a lot of reasons to be in the, more in the Bay Area. There's people I can see there, I have some friends there, even some networking opportunities. But I know even for myself, right, trying to job seek now, I would rather job seek in that portal, where I have the energy and I'm going to be a lot more, upbeat, and probably different opportunities are going to come through. And, even if it's a little bit hard to meet people in person, I would rather be in the portal. And, if necessary, like, so if necessary for in-person networking, come down from the portal to the Bay Area, I would rather do that and primarily be in the portal. It's like that much of an advantage, versus being in a spot that doesn't have that energy. Um, and that's why now I'm specifically driving directly to Shasta rather than stopping off, in the places where I could stop off with, right? I could stop off, there'd be, people to see, things to do. But I know it's actually gonna be that much more advantageous, even though it's like a little bit more of a remote location to get to that portal. Um,
Well, uh, at the same time, you should stop off and see people because and do them a favor, of your presence because you have an uplifting presence.
oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you shouldn't hog it all, just for yourself.
That's very sweet of you. Um,
Well, he can gather it and spread it out later, but he needs to get it all now. Right? He can get it when he comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a few things sorted out. But yeah, no, I'm sure I'll make other trips, and I'll probably, be around Shasta for a little bit, get that motorcycle riding down, and then I can dip down. Um,
You
so
have your motorcycle endorsement?
I just got the endorsement. So after being at the Baba Center, I
Awesome.
I went down and got it. Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
great.
excited. I'm excited. Now we have to learn, and I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it slow. Um, but I'm looking forward to it. So
Where are you from?
originally I'm from New York.
Uh,
Yeah. So originally Dobbs Ferry, Westchester, the Bronx, those areas. Um, And I've been in all sorts of other places. I was in Europe, most recently, and then I was in India before that for a while.
Wow. Mm.
And after New York, I went to Boston for quite a few years, and then I was in California for a little bit too.
Well,
So
you just said you were in Myrtle Beach. Is that recently?
yeah, yeah, like very recently, like maybe a week and a half ago.
Ah,
Yeah, I was
I spent
out
the last
to.
4 winters there, so I'm home back. I'm back, but I'll go back in September.
Okay, yeah, I had a blast
It's
with
nice in Myrtle
the.
Beach, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I was there for 4 days. I got a huge rush of Baba energy or support over there. Um, and it
It's a
was,
real
yeah,
portal in the Baba Center, boy.
yeah, no, yeah, as soon as I drove in through those gates, I was hit with it big time. Um, so yeah, and I stayed, yeah, I stayed longer than I was expecting to.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, quite a gem, quite a place over there. Baba was also, he was in San Francisco, and when I was living in San Francisco, I went into, yeah, there's some websites that have the records of, the Baba travels, and I did try to track down, where he was, and there's some, I felt some energy in a place where he had been before. So there's a hotel that, it had been a hotel by a different name, but if you go there today and you kind of like look through the outline, kind of the outline of the old building's footprint as well as the pool is still there, and you can kind of match it up to the photo and
Wow.
yeah, and find that. So he's left energetic traces in the places where he's been, even if he was there for a shorter time, like like this hotel.
I'd like to make it to Oklahoma. I haven't been there. I heard that's a really great energy there.
That's where he crashed.
Oklahoma, where Baba dropped, had his accident. Prague.
Is that, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I looked that up online. That looks,
Yeah. It would be worth going there.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I admire you. I'm too old to do that, but I wish I would have done something like that when I was younger, but I'm doing okay for my age. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well,
So,
good wishes to you. And when you're looking up at those
yeah.
stars, I bet you've seen some. I was living in Myrtle Beach on the ocean, and I saw some really unusual things in the sky at night. Sometimes I go, "What is that?" Right? It's like, wow.
Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, that's something. I think, yeah, there's a lot of unusual activity. One thing that I saw that was super unusual, I'll just share it, and this was on the Navajo territory. Oftentimes you'll see something singular in the sky, and it could be an orb or something like that. And those are really interesting, and especially if it's like closer, like that can be super interesting. What I saw there, it was a line, so it was like those orbs, as you might
Hmm.
see a singular orb, but there was a line of them. So there was 15 or 20. I was trying to count, exactly how many there were. There were quite a number of them, and they're in a perfectly straight line.
Wow.
Like, if you were to like measure it, eyeball it, it's not like any of them were off like even an inch. It was like perfectly straight, and the distance between them was also precisely equidistant. And I was at like a nighttime ceremony. It actually lasted all night. We kind of slept out there in this kind of circle they had. I looked up, and I hadn't been looking up before. I hadn't been looking up this guy. I've been having this conversation, with this medicine man and some of the other people there. And so I hadn't been looking up. And then I was like, well, let's just look up. Let's see what they have going on over here. And I looked up, and I saw a whole bunch of those little orbs kind of scattered about. And I saw this line. It was like directly overhead, and it was moving. So it was maintaining that equidistance and the straightness as it was moving along. And I asked, and then I told the guy, like, do you see that? And he's like, yeah, like we see these all the time. It's like a sky trail, or he had a name with it, a name of it. like, yeah, I've seen that. It's like not a big deal. He's like not even taking a second look. I'm like, okay, this is
Well,
uh this is interesting. Go ahead.
Did you notice, I take a lot of photographs when I was there. I did the sunrises and sunsets, and there's always like these orbs, like these little green things in my pictures, and I don't know where they're
Uh-huh.
coming from, if they're from the camera or I actually getting orbs. So they're in all my sunrises and sunsets have this green thing or little things in there that are like, wow, what's that?
So
It's,
I was at Shaston. I also got really curious. So there's a point where I got, and I don't have it anymore right now. Maybe I have to get it again, but it was like this basically telescope, and I put it on front of the phone, and then I was able to like zoom in like super close on one of those
oh, wow.
things. And it
Yeah.
was like really interesting. It's like static electricity. Like if you're looking at, one of those balls with static electricity, and then you like touch your hand on it and you're seeing like that electricity kind of shoot out.
Uh-huh.
Um, So it's a little bit like that. When we caught it on camera, it was kind of like that, as well as sort of like a diamond shape. So it was like kind of like a diamond shape with like the static electricity, and
Hmm.
it looked nothing like what it looks like when you're looking at it with the naked eye. Um, it looks like very different when it's zoomed in. But it's yeah, no, it's like very very cool.
Did you
Yeah.
see this new full moon that was supposed to be this really orange moon? I
Yeah, no,
didn't
I
catch
was
it.
out in Sedona for that. It was
Oh, that's
under
a good place to catch that, right? Yeah.
It was good, and I took some video of it as I was doing this night hike. That moon, it was directly behind the cathedral rock and was kind of backlighting it.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was so bright that even though it was behind Cathedral Rock, it was still providing enough light to walk up
Wow.
the up the mountain there.
Wow. Did you
Yeah.
take pictures of it? Yeah.
I took a bunch of video. I'm gonna edit it and make a short video out of it. So we'll have.
I'm gonna do that too with all my videos, but I haven't done it. I had Dropbox and I dropped them because they made me mad. Now they're trying to get me back. I figured that would get their attention when I dropped their app. Because you
Yeah.
can't
No,
reach those people for help,
you gotta just you got for me it's like I gotta just do it or else it gets lost and I have like another 20 pictures on the phone after that. You can't find it anymore. So yeah, I have a couple of videos of the donut. One of them I edited and I just have to put it out. That's the one when I kind of came in. I was like feeling the different vortexes, and then I'll do it like a second one with that night hike.
Well,
Um
you have your work cut out for you when you go home.
I
don't want to
yeah, yeah.
burst your don't want to burst your bubbles, kids, but
Okay.
I just Googled and there's over 10,000 functioning satellites orbiting the Earth.
And
So
that's probably what we're seeing, right?
y'all very well might have been seeing these. Yeah. And then there's another 18,000 dead ones.
This is different though. It doesn't look, it's like, sometimes it's like a green thing with stuff shooting out of it, like a little, and you don't
And it
even, it
moves
could be a
around. It's a
satellite.
green orb.
So
Mona, is that
I've
you?
seen those.
Where
Yeah,
are you?
I've seen those.
What, Mona? Couldn't make out what you said.
I said I know what Marsha's talking about. Those green small light orbs moving around. I've seen those. When you take pictures, sometimes you can just grab them and you can see them through that. And one very interesting thing happened when I was in Mehrabad once. I can't remember it was Baba's birthday or what. It was a very special day. And on that day, there was like the moon, the Venus, and one more. I'm not sure what it was. They were all three like aligned, and like you could see like how he was talking about, like he saw 15 of that. I saw like three of those, and we all saw it on top of the samadhi. And then when we went to this other space through open land, it was really beautiful and mystical. I'd taken pictures of it, but I was trying to find them now. I couldn't find it to share it with you all. It was so amazing to see that. And you could just feel the whole energy and vibration of the place. And that was like so wow. I can't even describe it. I'll definitely try and find those pictures and share it with you all.
Well,
That'd be
again,
awesome.
Yeah.
kids, Baba did say that what are they called? UFOs don't come from outer space.
No. Where did they
Okay.
come from?
So
Well, they must come from Earth.
UFOs come from Earth? Huh.
maybe
I don't
Yeah.
know.
this is the first time I'm hearing that.
Well,
I mean, I've heard they come to
I,
Earth.
I believe it just because where I live, there's so many aircraft,
Oh yeah,
and
New York, you know.
they all look like flying saucers, and they look like they're extraterrestrial, but especially at night, but in the daytime you see that they're jets, and you can see the satellites themselves with your naked eye. Yeah. So,
We've
but
loaded
it,
up outer space with junk.
yeah, but so that's what Baba said. If you believe they're from outer space, go ahead, and you know we're all free to believe what we want,
Well, it doesn't,
whatever
yeah.
floats our boats.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
read
And
that they're
and
building something like the moon in Dubai, which, and it's going to be something that where people can go to and like uh, do activities around, and it just like it looked like the moon, and people could live there and all kinds of things. So yeah,
Jonah,
did
are
you
you
read?
trying to get us
yeah,
started
yeah,
and
yeah.
finished? Started
We're
and
gonna
finished?
meditate. Yes, we'll meditate for a couple minutes.
All right.
Um, so let me see who's here so I can have you in mind. Um, okay, Jen and Mona. All right. So you can sit comfortably with your eyes closed. I want to thank you both for being here and begin our meditation. So we'll think about Baba, chant his name silently a couple times, feel his presence coming in here, enlivening the space, bringing his love and light into the space, coming down through the crown chakra and giving us a little spiritual cup of coffee here.
Mhm.
Yeah. So then come in. And we'll continue to sit with this for a few moments. Relax, be comfortable, be silent. Okay. Continue to sit with us. I'm going to call in additional support to further turbocharge our process here. I feel some work going on in the head, some work going on in the chest. Just continue to stay with the process. Stay with the process. We're continuing to move the energies a little bit differently. Thanks, folks. We'll wrap up for today here. And I really appreciate both of you joining. I want to give
All
a,
three of us.
How do we find you again?
um, well, can find me at my website, which is my name, Jonah Bernstein. And if you go to there and do/join, then I'll have your information. We can keep in touch, and I'll keep you updated. So JonahBernstein.com/join, or you can just email me, which is my first name and last name at Gmail.
Hold on, I
And
Can
got
you
it.
put that on chat for us, your contact details, please? This is Mona here.
Well, I got a pen. I'm going to write it down. Okay. Chat.
Or Marsha, can you just send it to me later then?
Let me just get a piece of paper. Oh,
Just call up your contacts on your iPhone and
well,
stick it right in the.
I don't have them on there because I just met them. It was just kind of like a gift, right? JONAHBURN. My
BE.
BERN.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I see
BERN.
it now.
So I just sent it in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, so I'd love to
We
hear
could
from you then. We could
share videos, right? Anyway.
totally. Yeah. Yeah, that would be awesome. And yeah, you
Well,
can just ask me your email.
I spent 3 summers in Santa Fe. I went to college in the mountains when I was teaching, and we went
Uh-huh.
all over New Mexico, and I was like really in love with that state, but I never got to go hang out. I went to Pueblos, but I never got to, when my daughter was born, we were near Abiquiu, and they had that sacred
Uh-huh.
blue lake, but there was all of the Indian things going on. That was 1970s. And, we weren't really invited, It's like, oh, we
There's a
go.
lot going on out there. I was in Chaco Canyon, which is an ancient Hopi site. You can
Yeah, I've
still
been
see
there. Yeah.
the ceremony. So, and that area around there um, is super interesting. There's a lot going on there. Um,
Right.
so
Well, I
yeah,
felt that
well,
way. Yeah.
totally, totally. So yeah, I'll have to make it back. Maybe we do a little bike trip through there. Um, and yeah, no, and it's not that long. It's funny after driving across the U.S. I should say, firstly, after taking long trips through India, then traveling in the U.S. didn't seem so long anymore. And then, especially after going cross country, now now twice there and back, then a trip through like a third of the country to go from, let's say, California to Chaco Canyon, or California to Sedona. Um, it doesn't seem like such a big trip anymore, which is really funny because growing up, it would have been like the longest trip in the world to go from, New York, right? So where we are in New York to New Hampshire, that was like the longest trip in the world. Like, in order to take that trip, it's like you have to prepare, you have to get ice boxes ready, you have to put like a cargo carrier on top of the car. Like, it's like such a long trip, like 8 hours or something. Like, how can you drive that far? Like, it's like such an undertaking. But it's now it's not, it feel like nothing. Okay, yeah, it's like 2 days traveling, and you can pretty much get anywhere in the um in the western part.
So how
So
long have you been on the road like this?
um it's been a while, off and on. So I was in Santa Rosa and kind of parked there for a chunk of time, and then I was in Shasta for a good bit of time. But then afterwards, I dropped someone flying with a dog at an airport in New York. So I kind of shot across from
Oh my God.
Oregon to there, and then I had to take care of some stuff in Florida, and I visited the Baba Center as well. So then I drove down, and then I looped back around. So it was kind of like New York to Florida, and then and then back out to there. So it took some time, and I think it's taken maybe a week and a half to go from New York to Florida and then back to California.
Wow.
Um, and I took a couple of days around Sedona, and I took a couple of days visiting the Navajo and the Hopi tribes over there. And I also took a day in Albuquerque looking at the petroglyphs around
Oh,
the
my
city there.
cousin lives there. Yeah, I have family there,
Really,
Albuquerque.
it's really interesting. And when I was at the kind of Hopi reservation, they knew how to read those petroglyphs that I had kind of taken pictures of over there because it's their,
Wow.
I guess it's their symbols. I was wondering, who is this? Like, and they knew like what it was and what they were meaning, all of that.
What did you think of
Um,
Chaco Canyon? I went there. It was like amazing, right? That they just upped and left. It's like, who knows the real story,
so
right?
first of all, what amazed me, and even as I was just entering the canyon, I like went off trail and the people managing it were like, hey, you can't park here. But what I saw, it was just like coming out of the desert like that. And what struck me is like how precise it was built, how fine the stonework is. And, it's like exact right angles. And it's like stones that line up like super precisely. Like if you go up to the wall and you start looking at it, it's not like now, like today, you build a stone wall, a stone might be sticking out a couple inches, it might be a little rough around. It's like nothing like that. It's like totally smooth surface, like 100%, flat surface, like nothing is sticking out. It's like very, very neat and very refined and like very precise. And they even have, because they have these prayer chambers that are circular, and then they'll have a double wall. So you have that kind of circular wall, and then you have a square wall on the outside, and you have space in between. And
Oh,
it's like there must be a purpose for that. Like it's probably, keep out the heat. Maybe they had water running through there. I was trying to imagine, when it was operational, what that would have been like. And then I ran into someone who does some stone work. He just happened to be there with his son, like exploring it. And he was like, the level of craftsmanship is like it would have taken kind of generations to build up that kind of craftsmanship to do this. And he was saying, compared to other sites, like compared to, Roman ruins, like this is like orders of magnitude, more refined. Um, so yeah, no, to have like a community to do, like they must have been like super well established. And like looking around, it's like there's nothing there. So it's not like you could have had a tribe, coming in on horseback, setting up some teepees, and then like they're going to build something like that. It's not going to happen. Like whoever did that, like they really knew what they were doing. They had a lot of resources. They had, a lot of time. Like they weren't in a rush. And they had clearly a lot of knowledge to do that. It felt very, welcoming being there. It felt very, very familiar. Um, and not just the part where some of the ruins are today, but some of the kind of the far side of the canyon too. I felt drawn to go over there. And there's all kinds of legends and exploration that Native Americans had done around the area. Um, so yeah, it's like a very sacred area. They've used the mountains for different ceremonies around there. And it's not just that, like what's marked as Chaco Canyon, that's a historical site. I was um talking with one of the tribes people there, and we spent a couple hours, and he showed me another cave that was actually like just off the side of the road. It's like you would never see it because it was kind of hidden from the side of the road. But we got out, we hopped over a barbed wire fence, we went through some bushes, and then all of a sudden there was another cave, over there, and it had, you could see like it had fire kind of on, there was like smoke on the top, so somebody had used it quite extensively. And the rooms were um it had like a very, very small room, also with like nice stonework. And what he was saying is that it was from this, I guess, tribe or people that had lived there previously called the Anasazi, which was a very small it was like a 3 foot high kind of person. So it was like a very small person, and they had this like very small room over there. It's like a normal person wouldn't be able to do that much with it, but they had this little thing there. And what he was saying is if you kind of go around the area, and he was saying, yeah, if you just kind of like you go back there again, it's like in the region of Chaco Canyon, but it's not, labeled on the map as like this is the Chaco Canyon State Park. He was basically saying there's all kinds of stuff,
Oh yeah, I would
there.
imagine.
So there's yeah, I mean there's a lot to see. There'd be a lot to go back for. And he was saying like he loves to like do some tour guiding, like bring a few people and he'll go out, with us and go explore some of these places.
Well, I just
So
got to
yeah,
go there for a weekend from school. They took us on camping trips every weekend. So we got to go, but it was a long ride and then we didn't really get to explore. But
yeah,
whatever.
no, there's a lot to see. And I don't think people necessarily do that much with it. He was saying that his father and grandfather like they went out and they went down. They did some like areas are pretty extensive and it takes some time to like go and
Did
explore
you
it.
go to Jemez Springs in New Mexico? There's Jemez Springs. It's near Bandelier, I guess.
No, what's that?
Well, there's these springs there that like I went with my daughter and she was like in seventh grade and we went in these um pools of water and right next to me, I swear there was this huge flying saucer. It didn't move. It had to be a UFO. And I just looking over my shoulder like, oh, and nobody bothered us, but I for sure thought it was a UFO. I'm sitting in this hot springs like
Okay,
it was like,
that's
oh my God.
Hemis.
Jemus, I think, Jemez Springs. It's near Bandelier. It's near, Santa Fe. You're not far from Santa Fe.
Okay,
Yes, these
I'll
springs. You
take a
have
note
to,
on that.
yeah, it's got these trees with big fernies hanging down and this big natural spring. Yeah. You have to drive up this mountain, but I don't exactly remember where.
Okay, so that sounds super interesting. Taking a note of that.
Yeah,
And
so it
maybe
was, we went a couple times, so it was, interesting. Well,
that's
when I
cool.
left, we from Santa Fe, we would take the bus to Albuquerque to leave. And I had a vision. I always felt like I belonged in that area. And
Uh-huh.
I saw when I was in this bus heading towards Albuquerque, all the Indians on horses, the clouds were Indians. I don't tell too many people this. They were riding like, with headdresses, and this whole chain of Indians. I said, is that real? And it was real to me, I'll tell you. But I never forgot that, you never forget something like that. I felt like I always went there and I saw rainbows, double rainbows every day, in Santa Fe. It was like, I had 3 really
Interesting.
nice summers, yeah.
The
I
cloud
can go
formations
back there
were super
now.
unique.
Hmm?
The cloud formations were super unique over there. It's the way the
Yeah, you know
clouds
what I
were.
mean? You could
Yeah.
just, but it was they look so exact like Indians on horses. I mean, and they were like saluting me when I was leaving. It was like, oh, but I need to go. I can go back every year. They're having a homecoming. As I went to St. John's College in the mountains. Yeah, I got lucky when I was teaching school, they funded it. And I got to go for 3 summers and get my master's degree, reading the great books, It was like, and my daughter get to come and they had horses up there, and it was like, but we had to study. It was really hard work. I actually threw away all my papers because after all the years I went to read them, I couldn't remember. I couldn't understand a thing I wrote. We were reading the great books like Descartes and Plato and different.
Yeah.
Every year it was a different discipline, like history, philosophy, religion. So it was really teaching for me was a great experience because we had a principal that was into just getting all these programs and training us to do all these things.
Folks, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going to proceed on the way, all the way over here, and I'm gonna turn on the AC in this car as we get going.
Well, have fun. Good meeting
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Take care.
yeah, great,
Happy
great meeting you
trails.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, keep
Thank
in touch.
you. Just
Yeah,
before we go, could you give your
great to see you,
details
Mona.
again? I would like to write it down. Could you give your
It's
Please.
in the
website?
chat.
Mona, I got it.
Yeah.
It's in the
Okay,
chat, but I
all
wrote
right.
it down. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
Got it, Mona. All right. Yeah, great to see you, Mona.
Yeah, you've been hiding. Where you been? Where you been, Mona?
Well,
I've been hiding.
it's
I've
probably
been
3
thinking about
a.m.
you
in
the other day.
Mumbai.
I was thinking
No,
about you.
it's about 10:15 at night now
Oh,
in
okay.
Bombay.
Jonah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was nice
Yeah,
meeting you. Yeah,
yeah,
thank
Thank you.
you.
and
Great
Thank
to meet you
you.
too.
I always feel great
Thank you.
after meeting with you online and the other participants too. Yeah, so
Yeah, it was a nice
thanks a
way to
lot.
start the
Yeah.
day.
Thank
We're
you,
starting the
Jim.
day
Thank
here.
you,
Yeah.
Jim. Yeah.
Okie
All right.
doke.
Bye bye.
Let you go.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Hey, Mona, so what's going on with you?
Marcia, you'll send it to me on WhatsApp?
Yeah, I could do that. They took me off of WhatsApp because my phone number changed, so I don't get WhatsApp anymore. They said they kicked me
Oh,
off. They kicked me
oh,
off
Mona,
really?
because I
How
got a
can they
new
do that?
phone.
Mona, Jonna's email's in the chat. Just click
I
on the
can't see it. I
you
can't
have to
see
touch
it.
you have to touch your screen or move your
I
mouse.
I really I can't see it on chat. That's why I asked for it.
Wow.
Uh, I'll
It's
send it to you
strange,
right away.
right? Because I messaged
Yeah.
at 9:38. Could you please share your contact details with us? And then the next, I can't see anything on it. And then the next thing I see is, oh, okay. I see again, like I put my email and my number. Um,
Oh, I don't see that.
oh, really? Okay, now
Yeah,
I
no.
can.
No. There's a message, your first message saying if required and everyone finishes reading, we can read again. You can read again, and then a message from Mayor Kiran, and then a message from Baba family Jonah Bernstein.
Oh, okay. Now I can see his message. It's in some other thing because I'm on my phone, right? So just 1 second. Is it BERN or BEM?
No,
Is it
BERN.
BERN? Is it?
Yeah, AH.
It looks like
I'm putting it in
BE.
my contacts so I can forward it to you. It's
Okay.
Jonah, JONAH Bernstein, BERN as in nose. Well, no,
But if
BER,
you look at the chat, it looks like a M.
no, it's
You need
BERSTERN.
glasses.
Yeah, definitely.
Get a pair of glasses with +2.
I'm using my
Bernstein.
uncle's glasses. They do just fine.
Yeah, yeah, because you know, a phone is so tiny.
Yeah. I actually read from the phone today, like on Lord
Wow.
Meher.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it was
So,
so much better, uh, Mona and Marcia, when you read more distinctly. It's so
Uh-huh.
much better because I, you know, then you then others can understand it just
Right.
by
yeah.
hearing it. Otherwise, we're struggling to understand what
Yeah.
you're reading
Yeah.
when you're going so fast.
Yeah, I
No,
got
but
it.
sometimes, like, some Indians have a way of reading, so it's a little difficult to understand that. And I get that because there was
Americans
one
too.
person.
Americans
Yeah.
too. For some reason, everybody reads in such a rush. I don't know why, but um,
Okay,
maybe
this
it's
is being
from school.
recorded. Jean, this is being recorded. You want to stop recording it?
Really, I
Yeah.
don't. Let me see.
I see the record button there. That's why.
Wait a second. Oh yeah, you're right. It is being recorded. That's funny.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have
Oh
oil in
well.
my hair, and I'm like,
Yeah.
You
Oh
have
not,
to
well.
this is
probably
like
tell,
out of bed
if
look.
you don't want the other part with Jonah on there or whatever, you have to tell Angela exactly where it is to edit it if you don't want all
I
that
don't think
on
it
there.
matters,
I don't
Marcia.
think, I think it was
Yeah.
fun anyway. I think it
Jonah
was
does
good.
Jonah doesn't mind, and we don't
Yeah,
care. I mean,
I don't
So
care.
what is this thing? Joanna does like a meditation every Thursday after Lord Meher, is it?
yeah.
Oh,
It was really nice, and it was really nice to just listen to his, travel experiences, and it was just lovely. I mean, I think I slept at the end of Lord Meher, some point where Marcia finished, so I didn't know where it ended, and then I woke up and I heard him talking about vortexes and this and that. I found it so interesting. It was nice. It's still recording though, but
No,
yeah. It,
no, I've stopped the recording. Oh, holy crap, it's still going. Stop. Oh, I see.